gonna pay. Hey everybody, it's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you're listening to the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Without the night out, you're tuning into Wrestle Talk. 657-383-1521. We'll be discussing WWE, NXT, Lucha Underground, ROH, fantasy wrestling, and we have some of the best damn interviews for professional and independent wrestling that you've ever heard.
And I'm Joe Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts, keep your arms in the vehicle at all times. Wrestle Talk begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the ride.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, mi gente of the Wrestle Talk fam? It is your boy, the Night Owl, checking in from the heartland of the United States. That's right, baby. Checking in from KC. You damn Skippy, man. And I am here, but I am not here alone today, despite my co-host, Nightmare Jones, being unavailable to do the show today due to some work obligations. I will be joined today by none other than a man who plays a vital role on a week-to-week basis in ensuring the success of the Wrestle Talk podcast. That's right, none other than the man himself of Dynamo Pro Wrestling. That's right, our buddy, Luke Roberts. Bring him on here in just a second, but I want to remind everybody that we are live right now on Facebook. I want to encourage you guys to tap that screen. I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and share the broadcast. Let everybody in on the best wrestling podcast based on the Midwest, period, point blank. Notifications are blowing up today, man. It looks like tonight's show is going to be crazy. So yeah, go ahead and share it. Let people know that we're here, man, so they can tune in and join us tonight. Also, we want to let you guys know, man, that WrestleTalkPodcast.com is your one-stop shop for everything wrestling related when it comes to from the perspective of your boys, the Night Owl, Nightmare Jones of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. There you'll find blogs. There you'll find original videos. There you'll find all of our press releases, past shows. And we have a poll up right now asking you guys what you think about the about the website itself that's officially celebrated 1 year. I mean, there's so much going on over there. And then here in a couple of days, we will be updating the event tab because, as some of you know, we are having a huge get-together for SummerSlam. That's right. Wrestle Talk Podcast is hosting the FWWC Watch Party at Rockstar Burgers for SummerSlam on August 20th. So, without further ado, allow me to bring in a man who's going to try to help me fill these big shoes that Joe Lance left, none other than Luke Roberts of Dynamo Pro Wrestling. Luke Roberts,
Rene,
what's going on, buddy?
Rene, you know something? Like I said, you're talking about how exciting, how crazy tonight's going to be. I'm going to tell you right now, I was listening to the program, and I could feel the presence of Nightmare Jones here. I mean, again, I always get used to how things are going, telling everybody what is up, and I'm going to tell you right now, as we're here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, the greatest podcast in all the Midwest, the greatest podcast in the world. You know, tonight you got a great show, and you've got to talk a lot of things. You got the High Spot segment coming up. We've got Kayhman from the MMWA who's going to be joining us here tonight. We've got the Snippets of Truth. We got the FWWC. We've got CCW is going to be here tonight as well. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of things that are going to be going on right here tonight on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
No doubt about it. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, Luke. I know you guys over at Dynamo, you got Ride on the River coming up. I know that there's some big news that's been breaking. If you can, for just a few moments, because our lines are already blowing up here, why don't you bring people up to date on the happenings of Dynamo Pro Wrestling before we get into High Spots tonight?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, again, Dynamo Pro Wrestling is going to be setting the tone for tonight's show. I mean, again, one of the big things that happened just a few days ago was the crowning of a...
This is the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Who's this? Wrestle Talk Podcast. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, what's that? Hey, what's happening?
Who's that, Brandon?
Yeah, what's happening, Rene?
Not much, man. Just checking the line, bro. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, we'll do, man. We'll do.
At Turner's Gymnasium, you missed a war. The teacher versus student matchup. Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion Brandon Aaron's taking on his trainer, his teacher, his mentor, the returning Dingo. And a lot of people that were in attendance were talking about the history and the prestige of the Dynamo Pro Championship. A brand new Dynamo Pro Championship belt was unveiled this past Saturday night by a man who I know, Rene, you're very familiar with, that being the human wrecking ball, Pete Madden, a man who's known pretty much throughout the Midwest as one of the greatest professional wrestlers.
Hey, it sounds like the Wrestle Talk family are big fans of Pete Madden, Luke. We've had him on the show here recently, and he absolutely was a great interview to have. So shout out to Pete Madden.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of the wrestling fans, and I know you yourself, Rene, I know we had an opportunity to talk just a couple days ago right after the event at the Concordia Turner's Gymnasium. You had an opportunity to see the brand new Dynamo Pro Championship, and I got to tell you, I've been around wrestling a long time, and it's by far one of the most beautiful, prestigious championships in all of professional wrestling for that brand new Dynamo Pro Championship.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you guys are doing big things over at Dynamo Pro Wrestling, and really, man, that's just kind of like that's just scratching the surface when you start thinking about everything that's been going on in the world of professional wrestling. And I'm excited because today we have the opportunity to welcome back our resident blogger who's going to be joining us for High Spots, the one, the only, Miss Brandis Outlaw. She'll come on. We're going to be discussing a couple of different topics. But we want to go ahead and remind everybody, man, this show is only here to provide entertainment for you guys. Without you guys, really, there'd be no point of us doing this show. So we obviously just always like to take a moment and thank everybody that we consider to be part of the Wrestle Talk family. Some big things are coming the rest of this year. Like I had mentioned, we've got our watch party that's coming up right around the corner, over at Rockstar Burgers. And in all honesty, as we look towards the end of the year and the beginning of 2018, there's going to be some pretty big stuff taking place, not only just pertaining to different guests that we'll have here on the show, Luke, but some trips that we're going to be making, and we'll be unveiling that as it happens. So make sure to stay tuned in to the WrestleTalkPodcast.com. But without further ado, I think it's about that time that we always do what we do about this time, and we ask everybody to remove their caps, put their hands over their heart as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth, and that's America, damn it!
Oh, say, can you see? And the rockets, red flag. I'll make up for it now. For the land of the free.
You know something, Rene? I got to tell you right now, we kept it official with a referee, like a referee with a gold-plated whistle. I mean, again, one of those things that definitely moves everybody here at the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Hey, you already know how we do it, Luke, man. We try to keep it sharp like a number 2 pencil on test day. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the High Spots segment. We got quite a few different topics we want to hit. Hey, what's up, Jeff, man? Feel free to call in and be a part of the show, man. We love when you spectate, but we love it even more when you join us. Somebody type this out for me on the Facebook Live, 657-383-1521. Again, that's 657-383-1521. And anybody listening to us on the replay after the show has concluded, we appreciate you being here as well. Be sure that at the conclusion of this broadcast, you hit the share button, put it on social media, man. That's all we really ask of the Wrestle Talk family. So we're going to hit the music. Luke's going to tell us what we're going to get into for High Spots, and then we'll bring on our girl, the resident blogger, who has a blog up right now on the website, Brandis Outlaw. Let's hit that music and get things popping. Whoa, cut. Intern Timmy. You know what, Luke, I'm starting to get really upset You know, and I hate to go off on a tangent here, but I think it's time that we start interviewing people for our intern position, because tell me if I'm wrong, does he not screw something up every single week? I mean, can you help shed some light on that, Luke Roberts? Because I think it's every single week. Intern Timmy is screwing something up. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it.
Rene, you got to calm down. We got a great show. We got high spots. We got Brandis coming on in a couple minutes. You got to tone it down, man.
All right.
Intern Timmy. I mean, again, he's got a lot of stuff. Let's try this again, Timmy. Can you get this right this time?
Hey, listen. We're gonna try it again, but I'm letting everybody know right now. We are currently accepting applications for a new intern for the Wrestle Talk podcast, because it is getting absolutely insane. Intern Timmy, you better hit the right drop this time, because my blood's already boiling and we're only about 11 minutes into the show. So don't mess it up this time.
Greetings, Earth Rings. We have now taken over your radio.
Yo, Brandon, is that you?
That's me.
All right, girl, you ready to do this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, cool. Bring the energy. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
The world is my goal with my unstoppable queen taking on control. You can't get none of this. We're running this. Well, take up, let's shake a 3-point gun in this. Get out the lane, I'm coming to an if you don't.
All right, Luke, take it away. You know what we do.
All right, well, let's go ahead. I believe she's on the line. Let's go ahead and welcome into the High Spot segment here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. I hope we can get her channeled in. Brandis, are you there?
I am here and I am ready to play.
All right, well, like I said, we got the one and only Brandis Outlaw here, our resident blogger here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. We got Rene the Night Owl, and we got Luke Roberts here. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, as the fans are cheering on in approval here tonight on the High Spot segment, I got to tell you, this has probably been one of, if not the biggest weeks I could even recall as of late when it comes to pro wrestling. There's so many things that we can talk about it. And first,
everybody checking out the broadcast right now, thank you guys for being here. You're getting a special behind the scenes look of how we do this show. There's goes so much more that goes on outside of what you guys hear in the air. You can see me, I'm sweating a little bit, trying to make sure this all comes out right. So man, your guys' support means everything to us, man. Tap that screen, share this broadcast, man. That's all we ever ask from you guys. Thank you so much.
Anywhere here in the country, and this is this rivalry between the New Day and the Usos. The New Day becoming Smackdown Tag Team Champions. I got to tell you guys, the match just amazed me. And these two guys, if you watched SmackDown last night, this just seems like, I mean, again, this just continues and it continues and continues. And I'm going to tell you, this thing, even though the Usos managed to wind up losing the tag championships, they definitely made a statement on Tuesday. Brandon, how do you feel about this whole Usos versus New Day situation on SmackDown Live?
It's definitely entertaining. I finally did catch up with all my wrestling because I felt so out of touch, but it's hot. I like it. It's definitely, it has a spark that I haven't seen in a long time with tag team divisions, because I got to be honest with you guys, like I legitimately fell asleep on tag teams for a long time. Like, I haven't seen one good tag team storyline that would like pique my interest, and I consider myself pretty exciting. So that whole thing that they got going on, I want to see more of it. So I'm excited for them. I like it.
And you know what? I'll jump in here and say this. I agree with Brandis. I think that the tag team situation on the main roster has been lacking. I believe that there's a lot of talent that they don't necessarily know what to do with. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think that they've necessarily fixed that problem all the way yet, even though I love the Usos. I love the street edge that they bring to the table versus all the goofy stuff that the New Day does. I think it's a great contrast. But then you take a legitimate certified tag team like Enzo and Cass and break them up. And many will argue, hey, you know what, maybe this has already run its course. But then you take another tag team like American Alpha, who had some success for a cup of tea up on the main roster, and then you split them up for this goofy Jason Jordan angle. I would have been much happier if you kept those guys together for another half year to 12 months, and then when they have that momentum built, then there can be a big explosion where the two guys break up and go in their own directions. Then they'll both already have a little bit of momentum as singles wrestlers. But getting back to the question at hand, yes, I absolutely love the Usos. I think they actually won that rap battle a couple of weeks ago, and I think, as usual, the New Day, even though they're baby faces, they get away with all kinds of heel shit, and I think it's not fair, especially because they're supposed to be the baby faces, but it always turns out that they end up cheating in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think the wrestling itself is extremely exciting, but we do need more established tag teams on both rosters, both Raw and SmackDown.
Well, Rene, I got to look at it. I got to jump in here a little bit too. I mean, there's a lot of great teams, I think, on the Raw side. When you even with the breaking up of Enzo and Cass, I mean, again, you look at it. You have teams like the Hardys. You have teams like the team of Gallows and Anderson. You have another team that a lot of people totally kind of leave out of the picture as late as the Raw Tag Team Champion, Sheamus and
That's
Cesaro.
a great point.
I mean, again, you've got a lot of great teams on Raw. But, you know, one thing I got to look at, too, is even though you have American Alpha and Enzo and Cass kind of being changed around and moved around, like say that, there are still teams that are out there. I mean, you look at the team of Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. You also look at Breeze Dango. I mean, again, that's one of the things that's really been kind of piquing my interest, too, because who's the one that keeps leaving them out? Only time's going to tell. They thought it was the Ascension. I don't know where this whole thing is, but I'm going to tell you one thing. The tag team division, especially on SmackDown Live, has been really hot as of late. I want to shift gears here a minute and talk about the U.S. title. I mean, again, there's all sorts of stuff going on. I mean, again, the title's changed hands, 3 times or 2 or 3 times in 3 weeks?
I can keep
and
up
also now... Yeah, and now you figure in the return.
Yo, what's up, Kyle, man? Thanks for checking us out. Hey, we're talking WWE. You guys feel free to call in and comment along with us, man. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this whole thing, because obviously the interaction from you guys is what makes this so special. Yo, shout out to Wisconsin, them cheeseheads. What's up, man?
Of cultivating TV, because, I mean, again, all 3 of these men, you now can throw Jericho in the mix. All 3 of these men have been credible United States champions. When you sit there and look at it, I mean, any of these men could walk out on any given night with that championship.
That's true. My only thing with that is that Chris Jericho, the way he's in and out, he reminds me of that, like,
Wild man, what's up, man? We just had the Chief on the show last week, man. Hugh, man, thank you for being here, man.
And you're just like,
God bless you. Seriously,
and
big fan.
Not that exciting to me anymore. Like, I mean, I just feel like.
Oh, okay, I got you, Kyle. It's cool.
The whole, like,
thank you guys, man. Tap on the screen, share this broadcast, man. That means everything to us. Thank you guys so much for the support.
And yeah, it's
sweet.
I mean, it would be interesting to see like a triple threat or something like that, but I just feel like storyline wise, I don't know what they're trying to get at though. But I wouldn't think that he's going to end up with the championship, especially as he's dodging in and out of Raw and SmackDown so much.
I think that's a very fair assessment. Well, I will say is that after 15 or 20 years in the business, I mean, is there anybody who's getting a louder pop right now than Chris Jericho? I mean, wow. The crowd went absolutely insane last night. I mean, everybody, like, it's almost as if he'd been gone for years. He came back last night after being out, about 4 to 6 months, and the crowd absolutely loved it. I think the guy's probably one of the most talented guys ever on the microphone. And you know what? Personally speaking, I'd love to see him back with the United States Championship, because eventually I'd like to see Kevin and AJ competing for the WWE Championship. And I know that there's a whole other thing going on with that right now. But I think Jericho is a great person for the United States Championship. I'm not making a prediction just yet. I'm not making a prediction of who ends up with the United States Championship, let's just say after SummerSlam, but I think Jericho would be a perfect fit, because when he had it, he did a really good job with the U.S. title. I'm really excited to see those 3 guys that are absolutely phenomenal in the ring, pun intended, and three guys that are wizards on the microphone. Any one of them would be a great U.S. champ. That's just the Night Owl speaking. Personal opinion.
Oh, Rene, we know you love the list.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you know what? And that's why we have you. That's why we have you every week on the show, Brandis. Because I know that if we don't have you, I'm going to end up on your list, and that's not something I want to go on. I'm trying to stay healthy, and I'm trying to stay, in one piece. I don't want no problems with our resident blogger, Brandis Outlaw. That's for sure.
Well, Rene, we got to look at something else too. We got to look at again. And I know there's a lot of things coming out of Battleground, but one of the big things that really kind of left a kind of a big giant question mark over my head was the closing moment of the championship matchup. I mean, again, Jinder Mahal, and I know a lot of people who are listening, you're probably going to see Facebook and Twitter and the Periscope Live and all that kind of start blowing up from this comment I'm going to make. To me, I think Jinder Mahal had the planning and that a very similar mindset of two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair going into the Punjabi prison match. Because not only did he have, he's got a phenomenal physique, he's really shown that he's stepped up when it comes to being in the gym, but now he has Plan B, the Singh brothers. And then Plan C, of all things, the great Khali makes his appearance at Battleground. I mean, how much more prepared can this man be to keep that championship belt? I mean, I got to say, a lot of people may not be happy with the fact that Jinder Mahal is still the WWE champion, but I gotta tip my hat to him. The man had everything together. And Brandis, like I said, I'm going to turn things over to you because I know that you definitely probably have you have your opinion regarding this situation.
I love it. I mean, it's like I am all for things different. I love that Jinder is the champion. He's definitely it makes you forget all of the three-man band crap that he was doing. And you're just like, whoa, this guy really this guy really has it going on. And I feel like you can take him more seriously as a pro wrestling superstar, And I'm not saying that anything like any of the people who do things like do stables like three-man band-esque or whatever are not good. But I mean, I love comedy, like the comical parts of wrestling. But it's like there's a certain part of me that would believe that you won't be in the picture for a title if you have that. And I mean, there's funny guys who've been champions, but it's just like that whole aggression and it's like he did a 180 or 360, and you're just like, I don't even know who this is. Are you sure this is Jinder Mahal? So I love that. I wish him nothing but the best, and I know that I feel that this is gonna be like some kind of ruling, this is like an era for him, and it's just all gonna be nothing but all these guys just making a name for themselves in WWE, and everybody in the locker room is going to fear them. I love it.
Well, you know what? I think that the initial perception that this was just some ploy to garner more fans out of the wonderful country of India has proven to be just that, a misconception. Everyone's like, well, they're just doing it because they want a bunch of fans from India. Okay, yeah, maybe there's some of that. But there seems to be a legitimate belief now that Jinder is more than a transitional champion. You recently allowed him to defeat your 13-time WWF champion or WWE champion. I'm dating myself. Sorry. Yep. And now, from what I hear, he may be facing John Cena for the WWE Championship. So, John, we need that drop on the show for real. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited. One, because I know that John's going to bring the best out of Jinder, and I know physically Jinder will bring the best out of John. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, as far as the Great Khali goes, awesome. But please don't try to put this man in my main event, okay? The guy cannot wrestle, respectfully speaking, okay? But if he is the muscle behind Jinder Mahal, I am totally cool with that. I'll take some more of that and a bag of chips, please.
Okay, Rene, I gotta stop you right there. I've got one thing. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's gonna be Jinder Mahal and John Cena at SummerSlam." You know, there's one great big giant hurdle, and I know everybody in the WWE universe and everybody listening to the Wrestle Talk podcast would probably agree with me here. It's a little thing called Shinsuke Nakamura. A match next week not only with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. John Cena, first time ever, has to get through Shinsuke Nakamura to get to Jinder Mahal. To me, that right there, that is a matchup. I mean, again, I think everybody that's a pro wrestling fan should be glued to, because, I mean, again, John Cena is known for 16 world titles, but Shinsuke Nakamura is...
This is Rene on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Rene, this is Kayhman out of St. Louis, Missouri. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, you'll be on in just a few minutes, Kayhman, man. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Hey, man, I'll hold on, man. You guys do what you got to do. I'm enjoying it.
Thanks, brother.
National and international news. The last thing we've got here on the High Spot segment is something that I've really been following a lot of this year, and that is the New Japan G1 tournament. I mean, it's been a phenomenal series already thus far. Sitting here looking at some of the names that are already in this tournament. I mean, again, when you sit here, like Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., Naito, Okada, Kenny Omega, Michael Elgin, Sonata. I mean, the listing.
Hey, Kyle, we're always open to having different guests, man. So if you got anybody you think that would be interested in coming on the show, we would love to have them. I believe that's what you're saying. And George, what's up going on, man? Kronos, baby, I miss you, man. Looking forward to seeing you later this week, bro. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Take a moment here to reflect on the life of the mascot of LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japón, Daryl Tanahashi. I mean, again, for those that aren't familiar, during this whole last couple weeks, Bad Luck Fale, a member of the Bullet Club, basically all but destroyed the mascot of LIJ. And again, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people say, oh, well, what's the deal about Daryl and what's going on? This thing has blown up. I mean, I'm sitting here right now looking at a website.
Thanks, Lee, man. Looking forward to having you on, bro. And thank you for sharing this and peeping the show, dude. Totally dig it. By the way, thrift store, $2. No joke, with the tag and everything on it.
That comes from ROHWrestling.com. This is
Hey, Kyle, shoot me all that stuff in the message, dude. I'd love to talk to you more about that, dude. Absolutely.
This is getting a bunch of international acclaim and attention. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, to me, coming off the G1 specials they had in Los Angeles, I got to say right now, to me, New Japan is definitely firing on all cylinders as of late. And either one of you, please, if you would share with the listeners your thoughts about the current state of New Japan.
I just feel like it's taking over. Like
it is.
I just feel like it's like I mentioned this last month, but it was just like there's so much wrestling out there now. Like I personally have became so overwhelmed, and I'm like, and I have New Japan like DVR on my TV, but like I'm watching other things, so I can't get to New Japan. But you're glued to your screen the entire time, and you forget. I know I do. I forget that it's New Japan, and whether they have sometimes they're speaking Japanese, and I'm just like, I don't care, I'm just watching this, but it's just taken over the entire world. Like it has nowhere to go but up. That's all I can say.
Well, you know what? Before I give my thoughts on G1 and New Japan as a whole, we do have to take a moment and remember Daryl. He was beloved throughout Japan, and I think I have a song that I think will speak to everyone as we lament the loss of a true legend at New Japan Pro Wrestling?
You like crazy. I miss you like crazy. Ever since you went away.
No, Daryl. Why?
I miss you like crazy.
Yes, Daryl, we miss you like crazy. And I cannot believe the amount of Twitter heat this situation got. I absolutely love it. That's what makes wrestling so incredibly special. When you can take an angle like this, the people love it. It's comical. But then, as I transition to a more serious note, you get the best wrestling matches in the world. Think about it like this, guys. How many movies are there that you would sit through that are all purely in Japanese and sometimes with no subtitles? There's not many people that would sit through a whole movie, right? You either need subtitles or you need like some voiceovers in English. New Japan is so good. The action in the ring is so elite that you could literally watch a G1 show, not get 1 second of commentary on it, not get one annotation, not get anything, give you an idea as to what the storylines are, and you could still enjoy the show. How many other companies can say that? New Japan right now, I'm not going to say it's leaps and bounds above every other wrestling company. I'm not going to say that because I think there are others that are just as spectacular. You talk about MMWA, you talk about CCW. I mean, there's so many wonderful promotions, but not many can pull that off, guys. To be able to run a show purely in Japanese and still have people go bonkers for what you're doing, quite simply because the presentation and the product in the ring is so freaking spectacular. That's what New Japan is doing. And look out, United States, look out, WWE, look out, everybody else, because these dudes are here and they're here to freaking stay. And that's how I feel about all that.
You've been put on notice.
Boom. How you like me now?
Well, guys, I got to tell you, as we said, there's a lot of things that we've talked about here tonight on the High Spot segment. Guys, I'm wore out now. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to things. And like I said, Brandis, I know for myself being here for Joe Lanston, I want to say thank you for coming on tonight to the Wrestle Talk podcast and always bringing your insightful and infectious personality here to the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Thank you for having me, Luke. It's been an honor.
Well, the Wrestle Talk.
You hear the crowd again for
my goodness. I'll tell you what. Hey, and I just got a question here before we throw to our very first featured guest of the evening. Brandis, thank you for being here. We'll catch you in a couple weeks, sister. All right. Much love to you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Quick fire question for you here, Luke Roberts. Before we throw to our very first featured guest of the night, your favorite wrestler in New Japan. Do you have a favorite?
Oh wow! I gotta sit there and I gotta go through all the wrestlers that are in New Japan. Oh man, and this is gonna throw a lot of people. And this again, I actually talked with my broadcast colleague at Dynamo Pro, Chris Rodez, but somebody who I think is gonna make a huge statement in the G1. I think somebody who's gonna make a huge statement still in 2017 and beyond. And you're gonna be shocked, Rene. You want to be prepared. Is Juice Robinson?
Yo, Juice is the man. Former NXT wrestler, bro. Former NXT guy.
Right. I mean, again, I had the opportunity back very early in his career to have an opportunity to be on several events with Juice Robinson. I'm going to tell you right now, since he's gone to New Japan, I mean, again, he's been bringing his A game. He's been bringing his A+ game and going out there and to be recognized. I mean, going from NXT where he was kind of I can't really put words to it to be in. I wasn't even going to say that, but I mean, again, when you look at it, and now he's a part of the G1 tournament. That shows how truly gifted the man is in the ring. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's a guy, and actually let me go ahead, being the man with the numbers and all the information here. Right now, he, as a last check, had 2 points in the G1.
He does.
But in his bracket, to give you an idea, right now, he's matched up with Michael Elgin. He's matched up with Sonata. I mean, again, there's a lot of people in that bracket on the B block that he's been. I mean, again, he's at the same level, and I really expect big things from Juice Robinson in the weeks and months to come.
No doubt, no doubt. And that question came from our buddy Kurt watching on our Facebook live feed. I'll keep my short and sweet. You said Juice Robinson's going to make a statement at the G1. My favorite wrestler that wrestles in New Japan made a statement at G1, but not in the traditional fashion. No, I'm talking about the man that picked up the microphone and fired some bap, 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 some shots right over to California, specifically to Boyle Heights. And that man is known to many as Ricochet, because Ricochet should have been in this G1, and he's not, and it's an embarrassment. And it has a lot to do with the shenanigans going on over at Lucha Underground. And I don't know what's going on between Lucha Underground and AAA. They've been getting a lot of bad press lately, but the fact that Ricochet was not in this tournament was highly, highly disappointing from my perspective.
Well, Rene, I got to tell you right now, when you sit there and you look at it, I mean, again, these spots in the G1 are very, very hard to come by. And again, I could agree with you. Ricochet, arguably one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now. And again, when you look at some of the names, I mean, my thinking is this, and I'm trying to kind of hopefully wrap this all up with one statement. To me, if you have Zack Sabre Jr. in the tournament, Ricochet should be, I mean, literally right alongside.
Exactly.
And to see Ricochet not in this particular G1, I definitely would scratch my head. But again, that's not a decision for myself or you or anybody else to make when it comes to the G1. But you know something, Rene? I know for a fact that the people that are watching, I mean, again, I thank you for the question, by the way.
No doubt.
We got a lot of people, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, that are I know are more than ready for our first guest. So, intern Timmy, I hope you got the music ready. I'm going to go ahead and bear with me. I had to get that.
Hey, Luke. Hey, Luke. Hey, Luke, one moment, because we got that music ready. But before we hit that music and do this wonderful introduction that we're going to get into, we got to drop this real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Drew Doherty, and I am the co-founder and owner of Cold Meal Productions, and you are listening to the absolute best wrestling podcast there is on the internet. And if you're here, you are lucky that you found it. It is time for Wrestle Talk with Joe and Rene.
Hey, Kayhman, as soon as you hear that music come down, you're on, okay? Just listen for the beep. Hey, as soon as you hear that music come down, brother, listen for the beep and you're on, okay?
I got you.
Stand by this. Immerhin get this. Bei Meisterschrei. Feuerfrei.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Wrestle Talk podcast, it is time for our first guest of the evening. This is a man that I have known for many years. My knowledge of our first guest this evening has been around now for over 14 years. A man who made his initial...
This is Rene from the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who's this?
Hey, it's Funky. I'm just listening tonight.
All right, bro. Hey, wait, when the CCW gentleman Lee comes on, man, I'd love for you to call in. I know you're a big fan of those guys.
Okay, absolutely, bro.
All right, talk to you then. Later.
At this time, please welcome our first guest of the evening, Kayhman. Welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Luke Robertson. What a great announcer voice you're putting on this evening. And thank you for those soothing sounds from Ramstein, Germany, bringing me in. That was fantastic.
Nice.
Well, like I said, I mean, again, we've got a lot to talk about. And again, I know you were listening just a few minutes ago to all the discussion about things in the high spot segment. And again, there are a lot of big things going on. But I got to tell you, one of the big things to me that's really been kind of making waves here in 2017, we talked about everything that went on last weekend at Dynamo Pro, the Dingo and Brandon Aarons and the changing of the MWR Missouri State Championship. But I got to tell you right now, one of the big things that has taken place in 2017 here in the St. Louis area is the return of Kayhman. Now, Kayhman, to give the fans here at the Wrestle Talk podcast, let's talk about your beginnings. I mean, from what I was doing our research earlier on, you were born in Germany. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was one of your typical Army brats. Me and my brother, we were both born in Germany. Shortly after I came along, we got relocated back to stateside, and we ended up here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, like I said, I mean, again, when you're talking about professional wrestling, I mean, again, I know being a military child and a part of a military family, you travel the world, but becoming a professional wrestler, I mean, again, you could have picked a better city. I mean, again, it wasn't really necessarily your choice, but the opportunity to come to St. Louis, and I mean, again, why don't you go ahead in just a minute here and talk about how you kind of came into wrestling. I mean, again, talk about what drew you to the sport of professional. I know we've had this conversation, but can you please enlighten the fans of the Wrestle Talk podcast a little bit about your journey into the world of professional wrestling?
Oh, absolutely. You moved to St. Louis, Missouri, especially back in, late 70s, because I was born in 75, so that just tells you how old I am. But you came into St. Louis around that time. You had wrestling at the Chase. You had, everything that was on TV was wrestling back then, especially if you had grandparents who, were like men's men. All they did was talk about wrestling, and every weekend they sat down and watched TV, and they were watching wrestling at the Chase. And if you were over at their house, you sat down in front of the TV and watched wrestling at the Chase, and you didn't talk till it was over. And that was my introduction to professional wrestling. And you see these guys on there flying through the air and beating on each other. Yeah. And you hear your grandpa in the background cheering and yelling. And you get into it. And, from that point forward, it was, hey, wrestling at the Chase is on. Did you see it? Oh, man, did you catch this guy? And then came world-class championship wrestling. And the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and all the wars you saw those guys go through. And then it just kept growing and growing. Then you got AWA. Then you got NWA. And then from that point forward, I mean, all it does is feed you, especially when you're a kid. You're looking at these guys who are larger than life. And, man, all you think is, man, how cool would that be to be in between, in those ropes, in that squared circle and throwing down? It's fantastic.
Oh, well, Kayhman, I mean, again, that's one of those, when you talk about professional wrestling, and you talk about the lineage, I mean, again, all those names just keep flowing back. I know Rene has been sitting there, and I know Rene, they've probably been flowing through your mind as well. But it's just those names and how people of the 80s grew up. And again, I remember world class in places like Georgia Championship Wrestling, and seeing all these things that just kind of pull you in and draw you into professional wrestling. Now, I want to take one more minute to talk about the journey. I mean, again, I know you had an opportunity to get your training here, and I want to talk about your training to become a professional wrestler. The three men that trained you are men that are no strangers to me. They may be unfamiliar to a lot of people here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, but can you talk about your trainers and talk about the training that you encountered and experienced to finally live your dream of becoming a professional wrestler?
Oh, absolutely. How I ended up getting into professional wrestling was actually an accident. I happened to be working at the time with an individual who I didn't even know was a wrestler. And once I found out, I went and we saw a show. I think I was with my wife at the time, and I don't think we were there 3 minutes until she said, "So how long until you start doing this?" Yeah, that was the end of that. So,
yes, dear.
I went ahead and, told. Yeah, well, no, because she was on board. She's like, "You're going to do this. I know you're going to do it. There's nothing I can say to stop you from doing it." And the very next day, I was talking to him, and I said, "I don't care what I got to do, but I want to get in there." because that, and I was twice the size of this guy, and I was like, if you're doing it, there's no reason I shouldn't be doing it. And I started with over there with Ultimate, and I guess I had put on, I don't know, it was a span of matches, maybe about 6 or 7. And some of these guys from MMWA were in on these events. And I got a phone call the one day from their head guy at the time. It was Philly Blunt. And he said, hey, man, he goes, your name's getting thrown around. I want you to come down here. So I ended up down at Broadway. Met guys like Johnny Courageous. Met guys like Jeremy Lightfoot. Gary Jackson was in and out at the time. But, Gary's fantastic. And these guys said, hey, get in here. Let's see what you got, and let's see what we can improve on. And man, if there wasn't a psychological twist these guys threw at me, or, just stretching me.
You're on the line with the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who's this?
This is Tate Westbrook.
Ah, what's up, buddy? Hey, you calling in for the FWWC?
Yes, I am.
All right, man, hang tight. We'll be there in about 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
Oh man, I don't know what to do. And and you just start beating on him. And you had to come up. You had to start changing how you wrestled. You had to think on your feet. And he was brilliant at that. Just like Johnny Courageous was brilliant in the technical aspect of everything, where he would teach you, this is how you're going to hold on, and if somebody goes one way, this is how you're going to bring them back. And then you had Jeremy Lightfoot, who was, I'm going to hit you as hard as I can, so you'll know when somebody hits you. And that, between the three of those guys, you couldn't have asked for better trainers.
Well, it sounds like you definitely had an intriguing start into your life of professional wrestling, and we always love to hear those stories because everybody falls into it a different way. But I think, Kayhman, that there's an elephant in the room, and I'm never afraid to ask these questions because I think that's what
go crazy.
Oh, here we go. No, it's because I know I kind of have this telekinesis thing with the Wrestle Talk fam, and I know everyone saw your poster. Everyone saw the advertisement for you coming on the Wrestle Talk podcast tonight, and I'm listening to you talk, and then I'm looking at the guy in the picture, and I'm like, wait. So help me understand how in the hell.
Help you understand how this came to be.
Yes, yeah, I'm really intrigued by that because I can imagine the guy that puts that mask on is totally different from the gentleman that we're speaking on the line today, and I think it's very cool, man. Like, I'm interested to hear how that all happened.
Well, here's how it works. You talk to me, you meet me in public, and this is the guy you get. Very nice guy. Do anything for you in the world. I put that mask on, and we step into the ring, and now it's business, and I'm going to hurt you. That's it. I'm going to hurt you.
Nice.
And that's my job, and that's what I'm going to do. You could say I'm twisted. You can say I'm disturbed. You could say I don't mind getting hit, which I don't. I take, how do you put it? I don't mind getting hit. I kind of like it. And if you hit me, you're just going to make me more mad. And that's what wrestling is. It is my chance to live out that other side of my personality. It allows me to be that there to where I am not like that in public. But how that all began, I mean, you're growing up, and I know everybody has done it. Anybody who's ever considered being a professional wrestler has done this when you're a kid. But you're laying there at night in bed, and you can't sleep, and you're thinking about wrestling, and you're like, man, what would I be like if I was a wrestler? And then you start thinking about other guys.
Hey, this is Rene with Wrestle Talk. Who's this?
Yo, this is Joe. I'm just listening, man.
Joe. Okay, gotcha, buddy.
Start thinking about, that face paint's cool, but this dude paints his face, and I don't like that. And probably one of the best, compliments I ever received was when I had first started out, and I came out with that face paint and all it. I had red and black running down my face, and I had that white base, and I had people say, I've never seen anything like that before. It's insane. You look crazy.
It's pretty dope, man.
Bangs. I mean, man, it was nuts. And I'm like, that's it. That's what's in me. That's the guy.
That's so cool.
And basically all it was getting in touch with a guy and bringing him out.
Well, let me tell you, when I first saw you, I can encapsulate exactly how I felt when I first saw you, and here's how I felt.
Oh my God!
Courtesy of Joey Styles. I was like, oh my God. Dude, your look is tremendous. And you don't come out alone. For those who saw the poster...
No, I do not.
Hey, tell us a little bit about your partner in crime there, Kayhman.
All right. Well, you want to know why I came back? That little partner in crime is exactly why I came back. I started getting back into it a couple of years ago. Started watching, started paying attention. I started watching a lot of Lucha Underground. Started watching stuff from overseas, you know.
You're on with the Wrestle Talk podcast, Joe and Rene. How can I help you?
There's this road there.
Hey, you trying to get on right now, or are you waiting for the fantasy segment?
Waiting for the fantasy segment.
All right, man. Hang tight. Enjoy the interview. We'll be there in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, man. Why don't you wrestle anymore? Or Daddy, when are you going to wrestle again? Eventually, that just starts to tick away at you and your manhood and the what kind of a father am I kind of button. And it wasn't too long ago. You know, I guess it's been about a year now. But I was talking to her, and we were sitting on the couch one night, and she asked me when I'm going to wrestle. And I told her, I said, honey, I will make you a deal. I said, let Daddy see if he can get back in shape. Let me see if he can lose weight. Let me see if I still got what I once had. And I told her, I said, if I do, that I will wrestle by your birthday. And I kept my promise because that month of her birthday, we debuted again down at MMWA. That kid is every ounce of push I have. She comes out with me, she scares the hell out of people, and they love her for it. She sits there during the matches and yells and screams, and I'll tell you what, you want to kick someone's ass when your daughter's telling you to do it, and you sure as hell don't want to get your ass kicked while she's sitting there.
Well, Kayhman, I got to tell you this. I had an opportunity. I've seen you in the ring. I mean, I had an opportunity years and years ago to be an official back when I was a referee in several of your matches. And I'm going to tell you right now.
Hey, thanks to all my fame checking us out on the Facebook Live broadcast. Man, let me tell you something. You guys tapping that screen and sharing this means everything to us. Thank you guys for being here. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. The FWWC segment will be up right after the break.
You see this young lady who's dancing around and all happy, and the next thing you know, it's like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. I mean, it's so mind-boggling.
That's a good analogy.
How somebody...
Well, Luke, you want to know what the worst part about that is? You know what the worst part about that is? That wasn't my idea. I told her, I said, you know, if I can talk to the people I know at the state and I can get them to allow you to be my manager and allow you to come out with me, what do you think you would like? What would you want to be like? She picked that. So you think I'm disturbed? Oh my God! What did I do to my daughter? I mean, she's insane.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh?
When you said, thank you, Rene. You took the words right out of my mouth. Well, again, I know a lot of people see this reemergence of Kayhman and the new evolution of Kayhman. But for those that aren't familiar, I want to take back just for a moment. Here's a man that I've known better part almost now 14 and a half years. And I'm going to tell you right now, this man, the story behind him coming back and doing it for his family and getting back into the ring, I got to tell you right now, this man has come back from probably two of the most horrendous injuries that I've ever seen. I mean, again, Kayhman, if you'd be so kind to talk about, I mean, again, you were a phenomenal role. I mean, 3-time MMWA junior heavyweight champion, one of those being by defeating Brandon Espinoza, a man who's made huge strides in the world of professional wrestling. But talk about the journey from being in the ring on a regular basis. And, I mean, I was there the night you got hurt the first time. I mean, again, a lot of people said you wouldn't come back from that. Talk about what the injuries were that kind of put you into that situation. I mean, again, their injuries, most wrestling fans wouldn't even begin to fathom.
Well, I know Luke got a really nice view of what happened because I sent him some nice close-up pictures the other day.
Oh, goodness.
When he was asking for stuff.
I saw those, too.
What? I'm going to go ahead and send... Oh, did you see those, Rene?
Yeah,
okay.
bro.
So that's what my leg looked like the day after I injured it. And here's the thing. I didn't even know I did it. I was wrestling A.J. Williams in a title match over at SICW, Herb Simmons and all those guys. And match went great. Won my belt back, man. I was flying high. And the next day, I wouldn't do anything really out of the ordinary. And my thigh popped. And I was like, what the hell was that? You don't think anything of it. But over the course of the next, 45 minutes, it kept tighter and tighter and tighter. And I thought, I'm just going to stretch it out. It's nothing, no big deal or anything else. Well, later that night, I found myself in the emergency room because I was freaking out. The damn thing was twice as big as the other one.
Wow.
And for anybody listening or anybody who really wants to know what that injury was, do y'all remember back in the day when Triple H ripped his quadricep in half?
Yes.
That is exactly what I did. Except, here's the thing. His ripped up top. When you think about your quadricep in your thigh, there's your top, your bottom, and the middle. I ripped mine in the middle.
Oh,
now,
goodness.
Here's the thing. If you rip at the top or the bottom, you can go get sewn up, do rehab, and, pull a Triple H and get back as fast as you can, but it's probably going to take a while. When you rip it in the middle, there is not a single thing they can do for you. All it can do is heal. And that sucks. That is about a year of I can't bend my leg all the way. If I straighten my leg all the way, I can't sleep because it hurts. It basically feels like somebody is driving an ice pick through the middle of your leg when you are in a bad position. It is awful. On top of that, not only did I do that, but I strained my ACL, MCL, my calf, and I tore my groin. All at once.
Sounds like super...
So if anybody says you can't get hurt doing this, they're lying to you.
But Kayhman, remember, wrestling's not real. So, how could that possibly happen to you, right?
No, not at all. And I believe my retirement speech, when I verbally threatened somebody in the audience, and I never heard anybody get quiet so fast in my life, pertained to, oh yeah, you want to tell me that this isn't real, that I don't get punched in the face, kicked, slapped, hit, bleed every time I come out here. And now my damn leg won't work. And I told it, the one guy said something, I said, drag your ass up here and I will drag your ass around this ring with one leg and you won't last 3 minutes. And I would have killed him.
Hey, listen,
you're not
believe that. People don't understand.
This profession. It ain't going to happen.
They don't get it. Well, here's what we want to do, Kayhman. We do a segment right around this time on the show, and we call it the Wrestle Talk Podcast Shoot and Shout. And basically, we give, we all take a few moments, and it allows us to express some frustrations that we may have going on. It can be wrestling related. It doesn't necessarily have to be. But we see it as somewhat of a therapeutic session. So we'd be honored if you would join us for Shoot and Shout today. Are you cool with that?
Oh, I think that's right up my alley.
All right, cool. Well, we'll hit the music. We'll come back with Luke Roberts. I'll go second, and then we'll close it out with you. Here goes the music.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is easy. Everybody sucks. You don't cry, but you want to justify. If someone's head off,
All right, Luke Roberts, you're up first, man. Shoot and shout, brother.
Oh, I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna spin it a little bit. I got a shoot and a shout, both all wrapped around one thing here. So give me a second. Let me throw it down here real quick. First of all, I got to say right now, I got to give a shout out to all those I know in the greater bi-state area. There's been a lot of people that have been affected by this recent run of storms this weekend. I think it's something like 100,000 people in St. Louis lost power. Rene, I know you and I are talking about all the issues up in KC, but I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that really just grinds my gears this week is that I know my family was one of those that experienced problems. I was looking for a place to go. I mean, it was 90-plus degrees outside. If you know people are looking to try to take care of their families and keep away from the heat, and you're going around, you're going to places like hotels and things like that, make sure you stay where you are. I actually had an individual who literally, I walked into an establishment, they were talking on their phone, and they were gone 15 plus minutes. I'm looking for a place for my family to get a place to break from the heat, and doesn't even bother to acknowledge that we're there. You know, guys, at this time of year, especially with all the heat and humidity and all the craziness that happens in the Midwestern summer, make sure you take care of one another, because something like this will happen pretty quick. Things can change at the snap of the finger.
Well, hey, listen, I can definitely share in that sentiment, because we got hit pretty hard over here. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going off, and it's Wrestle Talk business related. Intern Timmy, you, sir, are officially on the chopping block. That's right. We are officially accepting applications right here, right now for a new intern. I'm sick of you botching everything. I'm sick of you playing the wrong songs all the time, Intern Timmy. And the truth is, man, that as soon as we get a decent applicant through the door, your ass is out of here, man. I'm sick and tired of the incompetence. And truth be told, Intern Jimmy over the FWWC Tonight podcast, sponsored by the Wrestle Talk podcast, does a better job than you, and you can take that and like it, sucker.
Got him! Got him!
You're damn right. Kayhman, you're up.
You know what? I'm just going to go all WWE-related things that piss me off. First thing that pisses me off is if you're going to run a show on a Sunday night that people are going to take time out of their day to sit down and watch, you better damn well make sure that the following Tuesday that show doesn't kick the holy living crap out of your Sunday pay-per-view. Because I can't pick a single match out of that entire lineup that I thought was good, and then you run a Tuesday show that kicked its ass. That's pathetic. Number two, there is no reason your lower championship should dwarf the importance of your heavyweight champ.
You're on with the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who's this?
Big Papa Kirk.
Hey, man, you just tuning in, brother?
Yeah.
Great to have you, Pops. Hey, if you come on the FWWC segment, bring the heat, all right?
Podcast and all the Wrestle Talk family, we want to thank you for coming on the program tonight. Before you leave, for those that want to know more about Kayhman, know about you, more about you and Abigail, how can they find out more about you and Abigail as well?
Well, you can definitely look us up on Facebook right now. We've got, look up Kayhman Pro. It's Kayman Pro. That'll lead you to our Facebook page. We usually have some stuff on there where we're going to be. I need to get some more bios on there and everything, but, you know, you can get a little entertainment out of that. We'll usually have some matches up on there that you can also view. Rene, thank you so much for having me on tonight, man. It was an absolute pleasure. You guys are perfect gentlemen. Luke, you know I'm going to see you in the next couple of weeks, man. It's always a pleasure, and always good to talk to you, buddy.
Much love to you, Kayhman. Thanks.
Kayhman, thank you for coming on. Well, Rene, I mean, you're sitting here. Rene, I mean, again, when you sit here and you talk about professional wrestling in St. Louis, one of the men that definitely 2017 has kind of turned pro wrestling on its ear here in St. Louis came in right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Man, I can't tell you, Joe's missing. Joe being gone, I mean, again, this first hour has just rocked and rolled all night long. And, I mean, we still got a lot more to come. We got the FWWC. We got Snippets of Truth. We got CCW. We got the Game Show Challenge still to come. Rene, I got to tell you, this first hour has been awesome.
Yeah, it absolutely has. It absolutely has. As soon as we come back from break, we're going to go to the FWWC Fantasy Wrestling segment. Make sure you guys blow up those phone lines, 657-383-1521. And there's only one way to properly close out this segment, and that's by once again remembering the devastating loss of Daryl of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
You like crazy. I miss you like crazy. Ever since you went away.
All right, remix. Let's go into something a little bit more hard. How about that? See you guys in 2 minutes. Peace.
wrestling fans. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat talking at you, and you're listening to the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. You are indeed listening to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out with us through the break. An amazing first hour so far. I want to thank all our wonderful guests. I mean, you want to talk about getting a great perspective from a huge fan, our resident blogger who has a blog up right now on the WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Brandon Satlaw came in for the first 20-25 minutes. We shot the shit about the great Khali. We talked about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We talked about the U.S. Championship. We appreciate her coming on. Of course, you know, our featured first hour guest, Kayhman came on, shared with us a little bit about his story. He's obviously been in the business for quite a while. He's making a much anticipated return, him alongside Abigail. Make sure you guys check out the MMWA for more information on that. And you can always find Kayhman Pro, that's Kayhman Pro, on Facebook for more information on him. And now we've reached the moment, we've reached that part of the show where we get into a segment where we entertain the world's greatest fantasy wrestling group. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the FWWC. These group of guys and girls are a part of a fantasy wrestling group. And they compete for championships and they cut promos. The best promos in the fantasy wrestling business happen on the FWWC every single week. You can find out more information on that at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Tab over to the right, FWWC, click that thing, all the information you're ever going to need. But listen, you guys have been listening to me talk for a little bit over an hour. We're going to jump right into the phone lines, okay? And I ask everybody that come on the phone lines, bring the fire, bring the heat, no one-word responses. If I ask you a question, you better be ready to elaborate. Time is money, baby. And here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast with Joe and Rene, it is all gravy as long as you put it down like downtown Julie Brown. First, a man who is a legend here in the FWC, a man who has accomplished what many before him and many after him will never accomplish. This man is one of 3 men to ever become a triple champion. Your first ever and longest reigning Legends champion, a man that was never defeated for the Legends Championship, but most importantly, one of the original members of La Familia Worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. One of our most loyal listeners and a very dear friend and brother of mine, Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Big Papa Kirk. Big Papa, you're live.
What's up?
¿Qué pasa, papi? What have you been up to, man? Tell us all about it. Jimbo, did you copy? What have you been up to, man? Tell us all about it.
Oh, just driving all over the country.
Now, Jimbo, you were once part of the Kings of the Road with your son, Kurt Malice. Now you are teamed up with Big Beard Kenny, the Moonshine Mother Truckers. Recently, we've seen a change in Big Beard Kenny. Big Beard Kenny is now being managed by The Law, the newest member of La Familia Worldwide. Can you give us your thoughts on this change that we've seen from Big Beard Kenny?
Well, I don't know what's come up with Big Beard Kenny. It's confused me.
Now, are you concerned that it's going to affect your ability to team with Big Beard Kenny?
Yeah, that has come to my attention.
And have you guys had any conversations pertaining to that?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, hey, I'm anxious to see how that plays out. Obviously, you guys are a force to be reckoned with when you're together. But SummerSlam is right around the corner. We will crown quite possibly new tag team champions at that point. So no matter how that shakes out, make sure you guys are ready to rumble after SummerSlam, because The chapter is always better when the Moonshine Mother Truckers are taking care of business. We appreciate you calling in, Jimbo. You have yourself a good night.
Thank you.
Jimbo Slice. Hey, and Jimbo, I know you're listening. I got a couple of people on the Facebook thread talking about you're going to end up on the milk carton if we don't start seeing you a little bit more. Hey, I don't control that. That's Richard Priest and the gang over at the FWWC tonight, so you may want to, do whatever you need to do to stay off of the milk carton. Next, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who is making a bid. That's right. He wants the votes. He wants you to make it down to the polls and vote for him, as he is interested in Arden Murphy's European Championship. The championship that he just won from a luchador to Kansas City. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome man who dresses fairly dapper now and is constantly behind his desk shooting off emails and writing letters to the board of directors. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Steampunk Collective, Representative Tank Westbrook.
How y'all doing tonight?
Doing great, Representative. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just taking some time out of my busy schedule. Just got done meeting with some delegates here in Delaware. Just giving them my word and my thoughts of how I'm going to make America great again, and how I'm going to make the European, title great again, make the FWWC great again. I'm just spreading my love and how to make everything great again.
Now, I do have a question for you, Tank, because you're on this let's make the European Championship great again. Now, I would say that if El Luchador de Kansas City was still champion, he was somewhat lacking. I'll be the first to say it as the board of directors. But now Arden Murphy has the European Championship. So now that one of your brethren has the championship, I'm curious, are you insinuating that he's not going to do a good job with the European Championship, and that's why you need to step up and make it great again? I'm curious. I'm not trying to read between the lines here. I want you to explain it to us.
No, that's fine. If I do get to face him, which, like I said, I've been talking to the board of directors, the House of Delegates, the congressmen. I've been talking to everybody. They're siding with me. They're saying that they're going to vote for me and that I will make that title what it should be. I'm not saying he's not going to do a fine job, but why not have a true blue American represent that title the way it should be?
Wow, very, very well said. And as I have it here in front of me, Arden Murphy is watching through our Facebook live feed. I know he's at the gym and is unable to call tonight, but he wants to know, do you truly believe it when you say that Europeans suck? In other words, are you a Europhobic? Are you a Europhobic, sir?
I mean, I've never heard that statement before, and they can come up with words these days. You know how children, come up with the weirdest words. I would say that I am a Europhobic, I would say then.
Wow, you are a... Wow. Well, hey, listen, you said it before, and you're not backing down from it, and for that reason, we respect you. Tank, we appreciate you calling in tonight, man. We got quite a few other callers to get through. You got any closing statements?
No, I just do want to say congratulations, Arden, for, being the first Steampunk Collective member to have 2 titles, but I will be coming for that European title.
Let's try to do whatever the hell you want. So let's get it on. Old man.
Well, hey, you heard it there. Tank does not care that Arden Murphy is his brother in the Steampunk Collective. He does not care what anybody thinks. And he indeed has admitted to being a Europhobic. So there you have it. All right, so moving on to our next caller here in the FWWC segments. A man that's been on hold pretty much since the beginning of the show. A man that I happen to be a fan of, but recently he's had a little bit of a back and forth with our Triple Crown champion, El Mata-Ratas, a man who is eagerly awaiting his opportunity to compete for the FWWC Tag Team Championships, though he did unfortunately lose his match for the UXT Tag Championships against Enchanted Chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, a man that brings a stench wherever he goes. You know why that is? Because he keeps it ultra funky wherever he goes. Funky Flex. Mr. Flex, you're live on the show. Mr. Funky Flex.
How is everybody?
Hey, we're doing good, Funky. What's going on?
Not a whole lot.
What's on your mind this evening, sir?
Oh, you know, those UXT tag team titles. Those are always on Funky Flex's mind.
Now, Funky, unfortunately, you guys came up short to Enchanted Chaos. And you have the ability here now on the Wrestle Talk podcast to show everyone what kind of man you are. So, what are your thoughts after losing to Enchanted Chaos?
Well, we're not going to give up. We will be facing Enchanted Chaos at SummerSlam.
You're on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who's this?
Hey, it's Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay. Hey, we're going to get you on in a few, all right?
Hey, actually, I just got to listen right now. My client's being kind of rough.
You got it. No problem. Well, Funky, I think you're in luck today, Funky. I actually just jumped over to the phone lines. The Enchantress is actually listening, but is indisposed right now. I guarantee you she's going to have some thoughts for you later on because they beat you guys fair and square for the UXT Tag Championships. And now you have an opportunity going into SummerSlam to face Money, Power, and Respect. So do you have any thoughts about Richard Priest and El Mata-Ratas?
I don't think the listeners of the Wrestle Talk podcast want to know what I have to say about Richard.
Well, I think they do, actually. That's why they tune in.
As of right now, I don't know if Richard is even going to make it to SummerSlam after I get done with him Monday night.
All right. Well, hey, that match is yet to be approved, but if it does happen, I'd be very interested to see it. But please continue.
Oh, either way, Richard will see me Monday night. Either way, match or no match.
Hey, I totally respect our eye, Funky. Well, there's a lot that's been going on here in the FWWC. SummerSlam is right around the corner. Do you have a closing statement for the listeners of the Wrestle Talk podcast?
My closing statement is the same as every time. Get funked up.
Get funked up. Funky Flex, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 2 more interviews left in about 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and kick it off next with the man who I think in recent weeks has struggled to find his direction, but here recently, over the last couple of days, has made it pretty clear that he is here to stay no matter what obstacles he has to overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, one half of the Outsiders and former UST Tag Champion, Robert.
What up, Rene?
Yo, what is going on, Robert? How you doing tonight?
Oh, sitting out this clear summer breeze in West Virginia.
No doubt, man. Hey, man, God's country, West Virginia. So, Robert, you got about a minute and some change here, man. Tell us, what is on your mind and what is the future for Robert and the Outsiders as a team?
The future is very, very bright as you will take it day by day week by week. But here's my message to a certain somebody that made an issue challenge. To challenge him for the SummerSlam for his brand new title that he just got basically at Battleground. Talk about El Mataratas for his U.S. title. Now, I understand the main roster guys do not take the UXT guys very seriously, but as you've seen, the Intercontinental title is held by Mr. Cairo himself, and there's been plenty of UXT guys, like Corbin Slater, who's held the Warriors Heart Championship, can hang with the main roster guys. Now, my question is, will El Mataratas accept Robert's challenge, even though he's in the UXT still?
That's very, very interesting. I want to know what the listeners of the Wrestle Talk family think about this proposal. Well, Robert, it sounds like the listeners of the Wrestle Talk family and the FWWC think that's quite an interesting idea. Listen, the decision will have to be made amongst the rest of the board of directors. But listen, I, for one, like your proposal. I think it's very interesting. The one thing I will say, though, is there's still a lot of time between now and SummerSlam, and you do have quite a bit of work to do. If you can do it, I think you have just as good an opportunity as anybody else to earn that opportunity. I will personally make sure that El Mataratas gets your message.
Well, trust me, if you don't hear it, I will make him hear it loud and clear.
All right, Robert out of West Virginia, man. You take it easy down the road. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got time for one more interview. And I've been saving this one because I'm really anxious to talk to this man. He is a brand new champion. His name was just recently mentioned by Robert. He is a UXT man, and he is a UXT man that recently captured the FWWC Intercontinental Championship and has recently been up to some shenanigans in the FWWC. I'm a bit curious to ask him about that. Ladies and gentlemen, your brand new Intercontinental Champion here in the FWWC, the last descendant, Julius Cairo.
Hello, Rene.
Mr. Cairo, how are you, sir?
I am doing, well, I was doing fine. I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder this evening.
Okay. You want to tell us more about that?
Yes, I do. I want to address all of those on the main event roster that talk about us UXT talent like dogs. The reason they talk about us like that is because, quite simply, they do not match.
You're on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Who's this?
La Muerta.
Oh, I got to get you on. Hang tight.
Now they have to humble themselves, and if they are to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship, they have to compete against a lowly UXT talent.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen,
does that answer?
Your new, and I think we had a bit of a connection issue there, and I don't know what's going on. I'm lacking the ability to control the computer right now, and I don't know. Damn you, intern Timmy! I can't control this crap. All right. Hello? I can't control the board. Hello, is there somebody there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Is this La Muerta?
Yes.
Well, hello, La Muerta. I'm wondering, do you have anything to do with this interruption of Julius Cairo? Because I can't seem to control my own soundboard here. What's going on?
Oh, don't worry about that. I just wanted to say, Cairo, you keep talking shit, but you only have the Intercontinental Championship because Geodrix failed. It had nothing to do with how good you did.
Oh, wow. A bold statement, Miss Muerta. You have been pretty much on the tip of everybody's tongue here recently, and for quite a few reasons, but specifically because you are the one woman that will be competing in a match that also includes Julius Cairo for the vacant hardcore championship at SummerSlam. You have made it really clear that is the one and only title that you're even interested in. So could you shed some light on that for us, please?
Yes, quite frankly, Cairo shouldn't even be in the match. It should just be me and Marcus. But that's another story.
Marcus Mayhem. And why do you say that? Why do you say that about Marcus Mayhem? What makes him above and beyond everybody else in that match?
Well, he's the only main roster guy that was involved in the entire thing.
Wow, so you're definitely aiming for the stars, right? I mean, well, I have firsthand knowledge as a man who signed Marcus Mayhem to the FWWC. As we all know, he just today dropped a promo with his tag team partner, Nightmare Jones, for the Lethal Lottery tournament. So we're sure he'll get this message. Anything else you want to throw out to the FWWC, La Muerta?
I just want to say, run, rabbit, run. Run,
rabbit, run. What in the world does that even mean? I don't know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, as much as I try to maintain order and control here in the FWWC segment, there are just powers beyond my ability to control, and I don't know how I don't know how they did that, but I want to apologize to Julius Cairo. I was really kind of ready to ask him what the heck was going on with the dreads and the Artie Murphy. I was kind of wondering what that was all about, so we'll definitely have to make some room for Julius Cairo to come back on next week and maybe shed a little bit of light on what that's all about. Let me do this. I want to bring on my co-host for the evening, Luke Roberts, as we anxiously anticipate our buddy Lee Montgomery from CCW to call in so we can go ahead and get this interview started. Luke Roberts, I know you caught the tail end of that, and I know you've been in the wrestling business for a long time. I don't know who was creepier, man. Listening to Kayhman get all fired up about, getting back into the ring, or La Muerta. You got any thoughts on either of those two?
Well, I got to tell you right now, Rene, my third is just that laugh of Cairo. It just kind of gives me the chill whenever that man laughs. I mean, it kind of gets in that wonder, like his fingers on a chalkboard.
Wrestle Talk Podcast, who's this?
Hi, this is Lee Montgomery of Cape Championship Wrestling.
All right, we'll get you on in a minute, buddy. Welcome to the show.
All right, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing those thoughts, Luke, and I will tell you, I apologize for the delay there. I have confirmed that our guest is on the line and ready to go, but let me go ahead and remind everybody, August 20th, Rockstar Burgers. The Wrestle Talk Podcast is hosting our second event of 2017, and that is the FWWC SummerSlam Watch Party hosted by Wrestle Talk at Rockstar Burgers. We want to encourage everybody to make their way down there within the next day or so. Our event page on the website will be updated. Tickets will be on sale from that day forth for $7 a piece. You get live entertainment. You get discounted food and beverage, an awesome, incredible venue, and obviously you get the opportunity to watch SummerSlam on a 70-inch TV with surround sound booming throughout the whole establishment. It's going to be an absolutely great time. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the WrestleTalkPodcast.com for more information on that.
We know, Rene, another thing you got to link to, too, we got a great guest still to come. Make sure Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, let us know. If you've got questions, we still got plenty more Wrestle Talk. We got another great interview still to come right here tonight on the program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our second hour featured guest of the evening is going to join us right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to welcome in for the very first time co-owner and media director for CZW, that's Cape Championship Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Montgomery. Lee, you're live, buddy. What's going on tonight?
Hey, Rene, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem, man. Fired up. Hopefully that intro music did you justice, man.
I didn't actually get to hear it, so.
Oh, no. You know what? That's why we're looking for a new intern, bro. Finding good help these days is pretty hard to do.
Oh, trust me, I know that firsthand. Yeah, I've seen the first part of the podcast here, and poor intern Timmy, he seems to be dropping the ball a little bit there.
He's on the chopping block, man. You know what? I was once told that the shenanigans that go on here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, they give us character, right? So I guess we'll just go with that.
Hey, you got to roll with the punches. You got to roll with the flow.
No doubt, man. Well, speaking of character, Lee, you, sir, are quite the character. People really seem to love what you're doing down at Cape Championship Wrestling, man. You definitely got the personality that attracts people. I know a bunch of people down in Cape, man, and you know, I kind of put it out there. A teaser said, hey, special guest from CCW. And immediately the guys was like, who are you having on? I'm like, hey, it's one of the owners. And my buddy Dylan was like, yo, is it Lee? Is it Lee? I was like, yeah, it's Lee. He was like, yeah, dude. So there's something about the environment that you guys are, no, I'm dead serious, man. There's something about the environment that you guys are creating down there that has a lot of people excited, man. And I know you guys got a huge show coming up, as you always do. But tell us, man, a little bit about the origins of yourself as a wrestling fan and then of CZW.
Well, kind of as far as like just the origin of being a wrestling fan, I mean, I started as far back as I can remember. I literally remember the very first wrestling I watched was with Starcade. I remember my babysitter, they recorded me the pay-per-view. The one, I think it actually took place in St. Louis, where it was the Black Scorpion versus Sting. And ever since then, like, I was hooked on it. And every once in a while, they would get the pay-per-views, and they would record them and then let me borrow the VHS. And then, like I said, I just stayed hooked. And as I got older, I just kind of grew and grew more into it. So with having that passion for professional wrestling, I knew somewhere down the road, I wanted to have a wrestling company. And luckily with CCW, with some great partners, with Barry, with Ken, with Jason, we went through and we all got together, and then a year later, we're here today.
Dude, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys are just now celebrating 1 year in business, man. Has it been a whirlwind? I know you guys had a great deal of success. I'm sure you've had some hurdles along the way, man. But do you still have that fire and passion you had for it when you first decided to start it?
Honestly, I think the passion has grown more and more. I just, I was talking to the guys about this the other day, and I think we all were in agreement. None of us thought it would be as successful as it's been this past year. We're all dedicated to this. Everyone involved into it. It's 110%, and it's just one of those things that we just keep growing. And I think as more and more people see the product, see how much effort is put into it, and I think it makes more and more people want to be involved in it. And then with that growing interest, with the growing crowd, it helps us to be able to bring in the top talent, not just locally, not just throughout the Midwest, but I mean throughout the whole country. If you look at our 1 year so far, I mean, look at the guests we've had. I know I was talking earlier about Ricochet not getting into the G1. Well, Ricochet was at our second show.
He was.
We had James Ellsworth right before he signed it to WWE. We had Matt Hardy. We've had Kyle O'Reilly. We've had Jeff Cobb, the Monster Matanzas, Joey Ryan, Colt Cabana, and some surprise guests. Like we had and it just continues to grow with this Saturday night, of course, having Billy Gunn.
Yeah, that's going to be tremendous, man. You want to talk about celebrating a year in style. You bring Mr. Ass to town. And I think that in itself speaks to what you guys have been able to do inside of a year. And I'm curious, I know you're co-owner of CCW, so I'm curious, who are your partners in this venture? Who are the other guys that more or less make the magic happen over at Cape?
So it started out, I'll tell the backstory kind of a little bit here to kind of how everybody got together.
Absolutely, please do.
At my former job, I worked in a cell phone company, and I met a guy come in the store one day by the name of Ken Murphy. He came in, and it was funny. We actually talked a little bit about this yesterday about one of your guests, Frodo, on there. Well, I had a guy that on my phone I had a picture with this rapper by the name of Boondocks who wore face paint. And I had my phone setting on the table where Ken and I were working on his phone at, and the phone lit up, and he seen it, and he asked me if that was Sting. And I said, no, it's a rapper by the name of Boondocks, but I do know who Sting is because I'm a huge wrestling fan. And then we had talked, and I told him about going to his Comic-Con. He does run the Comic-Con here at Cape. And we were talking, and he was telling me he had interest in starting a wrestling company here. And I said, that sounds great. And he was kind of asking me about where to begin with it. And I said, hey, I got a friend by the name of Jason Wells, and he does a lot of booking for talent for some shows down in Tennessee. And, maybe one day we can get together and we'll sit down and then we'll talk about it. So I talked to Jason, asked about if there was an interest in doing this. Jason, like me, like Ken, are a huge wrestling fan, so he's like, yeah, most definitely. So one cold night in Cape Girardeau, we all met at the Logan Steakhouse, and we had dinner and we talked about the plans for what would in time come CCW. So we had a test market. Ken paired up with SICW with Herb and brought a show in to pair with his Comic-Con. And there was a great response for wrestling in this area because there had been wrestling here for, outside of like a WWE for like probably 7 or 8 years at least. So with that, people were so excited for us to do it. And that, with the interest that was drawn from that show, we knew that we had to make CCW official. So with that, we ran our first show last July. After a couple of shows, we ended up meeting a guy by the name of Barry. Barry expressed interest in how he loved the product, and we were talking, and he was like, he really wanted to get involved, and he really wanted to help us expand the company. So what we ended up doing was we actually brought him on as a fourth partner so we could continue to help grow the company in a way that we felt that it needed to go.
Well, and you guys absolutely put together a wonderful formula, and that's why you guys are having the success that you're having. I'm curious, did you guys kind of go out of your way to try to differentiate yourselves from everything else out there? I mean, when you think about it, and what's up, Chad Hickson, CCW for life, a lot of CCW fans tuning in tonight. We appreciate that. But did you guys intentionally say to yourselves, hey, we want to be different from everybody else, say in the state of Missouri, state of Illinois, Kansas City? Did you guys intentionally put together a plan to stand out and to differentiate yourselves from everybody else?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Where we're located exactly, we're about 2 hours from Tennessee. We're an actual, like, semi-bigger town. We're probably about 45, 50 minutes from a town in Illinois. And then, of course, we're about 2 hours south of St. Louis. So if you really wanted indie wrestling, you would have to travel to one of those spots for it. And we didn't want to be a company that was just like one in Illinois, or just like one in Tennessee, or just like one in St. Louis. We wanted our company because we knew we wanted to build something great. So we wanted to have the best talent that we could get that would want to come in here. And I feel like it's like a win-win situation, especially for guys that, that it's very hard to have wrestling in Missouri. Between what is required from the state,
a lot of rules,
for both the promotion and the wrestler, yes. So anytime there was a chance for wrestling to come in, guys are wanting to jump on it. So we just knew that we had all this interest now of us running wrestling. We have to make sure that the interest that we're bringing and the word that's being spread, it has to match the hype. And that's definitely what we set out to do at CCW.
No doubt about it, man. We appreciate that insight, and again, it's evident in the success that you guys are having. Luke, let me bring you in here as a man who's been familiar with the wrestling scene in the Midwest for over 20 years. I know you've got to be pretty impressed with what the guys down in Cape are doing. Why don't you jump on in here and tell us what you think about that?
Well, first of all, I believe I got to tell you right now, from being in professional wrestling as long as I have, and to see the recent improvement and just the consistent growing of CCW in the greater Cape Girardeau area. I mean, again, it shows when you have a vision, when you have a dream, when you have a goal in mind, you have a team behind you, you can reach the pinnacles of success. And I want to take a minute here, and I want to look at the anniversary card. I mean, I know it's coming up on this Saturday evening at the AC, I believe, Brave Arena in Cape Girardeau. Yeah. There's a lot of great matches on the show, but my first question is, and I kind of want to touch base on this because I know one of the individuals. I was watching through the web, and I was watching the kind of the story that was going on between a gentleman by the name of Jason Vaughn and CCW General Manager Ozzy Tomlin. I mean, here's a man who's pretty much been around. Never really got a good read on him. I mean, I know he retired, I believe, at the first event. Can you tell the listeners of the Wrestle Talk podcast a little bit about this matchup and how this has all come to being and your thoughts on this particular matchup?
As with that match, like as far as with Osby goes, Osby's wrestled, like you said, for a while. He was the Colt Kayfabe champion. He was defending the Colt Kayfabe championship one night down in Tennessee. He got hurt, and he wasn't exactly for sure if he was going to wrestle again. So at that first show, he did retire. Well, he still wanted to have an involvement in the in wrestling, especially with Cape Championship Wrestling, because he grew up down south of there, and he went to SEMO. So he has a fan base down there. So he wanted to be kind of involved with it, and we had a general manager for CCW, and he decided to part ways with the company. So we were looking for a new general manager, and Ozzy, we were talking to Ozzy about it, and he was just like, hey, I'm game, let's do this. And we're like, okay, great. And so Ozzy come in. People know Ozzy, the wrestlers know Ozzy, everyone's gotten along. The only person that really didn't get along with Ozzy backstage was this guy by the name of Jason Vaughn. Jason Vaughn, he's from down south, and I think he's done some wrestling down in Illinois and stuff like that. Well, since that total between the two of them just kept growing and backstage, it finally spewed out into the ring, and when it did, it was just a fiasco, and Ozzy just quite frankly fired him.
Well, just like that, huh? Damn.
Yeah, just like that, it's done, it's over, we're getting rid of you at CCW. Well, of course, the CCW fans are big Fury Jason Vaughn fans. They went on the internet, and they were kept pushing to bring him back. We were having a show a couple months ago, and Jason Vaughn ended up sneaking into the ring and trying to attack him. So it finally came down to the point to where they were going to have a one-on-one meeting to discuss his future with CCW. And it was put out there he would have one match. If he won, he would get to come back to be part of the CCW roster. That was it. Jason Vaughn didn't read the contract, what he signed for it, and it turns out to be that it's now going to be a handicap match with Osby and Juice.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me ask you this, Lee. So are you telling me that in this day and age he did not read the contract? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct. Yes.
Well, we got a sound drop for that. Oh my goodness! Please carry on.
Well, like I said, I mean, again, that match just really kind of strikes me because, I mean, again, as you say, in professional wrestling, you've got to read the contract, you've got to read the fine print. I mean, again, that's one of the matches that definitely registered to me. And again, it's one of the, I mean, literally a stacked lineup this coming Saturday night. I mean, you've got the #1 contendership match for the CCW Championship. You've got an intergender tag match.
Actually, that's one thing I want to. I think that's one thing I want to.
Hey, Dylan, be ready. You're coming up soon, all right? Dylan.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Be ready, buddy, all right? Be ready.
All right, I got a few things to point.
They've gone back and forth all throughout the South. I've actually had the privilege of seeing them a couple years ago actually go at it in a ladder match. Their matches, when they get together in previous promotions down south, it's one match of the year. This match is probably one of the most matches that I'm excited to see. And I could definitely say that it is a very good contender for match of the night.
Well, like I said, I mean, again, when you look at it, you have a #1 contenders match. You have the handicap matchup that we already talked about where Jason Vaughn takes on Justin Smart and Osby Tomlin. If he wins, he's going to be reinstated to CCW. You have an intergender tag team matchup featuring the CCW Women's Champion Mardi Gras. You've got the CCW Tag Team Championship with the Blaster taking Sexy Sarge O'Reilly as his partner, taking on the LA Hustlers. And one match that really kind of stands out to me, again, it stands out to a lot of people because right now it's the match that a lot of people have been talking about in CCW, is the CCW champion, Hollis Giroux, a man who's been here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, and his partner, Matthias, taking on Billy Gunn and Brandon Barbwire. I mean, again, you've been around.
There's no Del Tacos in Kansas City, but I wish there were. Bro, when I come down to Cape, Robert, me and you, bro, Del Taco
matchup that's coming up this coming Saturday night.
Okay. For those that don't know the story or the history, the origin of CCW, Brandon Barbwire was our first champion. He was a good guy. He turned on all of his fans and joined the faction called the Pinnacle. And he was our champion. He was our champion all the way up till April in the Super Show, to where his manager, Jeff Odell, turned on him, costing him the belt and helping Hollis win the belt. And then in such, Hollis then joined the Pinnacle. Now, with that, ever since then, Brandon is wanting to get his revenge on the Pinnacle.
Doesn't sound like the fans of the Wrestle Talk. Hey, doesn't sound like the fans of the Wrestle Talk podcast are big fans of the Pinnacle.
Say it one more time. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that, just going by the boos in the background there, it doesn't sound like the fans of the Wrestle Talk podcast are too big of fans of the Pinnacle.
No. There have been some nights to where we've thought that it was going to get pretty bad there between the fans. Yes, the fans are not a fan of the Pinnacle. So with Barbwire trying to get his championship back and try to get his revenge on Hollis Giroux, the manager, Jeff Odell, brings in this guy by the name of Roger Mathis. If you've never seen Roger, he's a big old boy.
He is.
Let me tell you. And he likes to fight. So at our last show, Mathis and Barbwire went right at it. And of course, it ended in a fiasco. Match got thrown out because the ref could not keep control of it. So our general manager Osby came out and he said, "Hey, for the anniversary show, we're going to make a special challenge. Brandon Barbed Wire wants his revenge against Mathis. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it a tag match. Mathis, he's going to put him with Hollis Giroux. To even it out with Brandon Barbed Wire, he's bringing in Billy Gunn, former DX member, former WWE Tag Champion. So it's going to be a barn burner."
Well, it is, and you know the Mad.
Most definitely, I guess.
Well,
I mean, again,
and I want to say just real quick for those of you guys who have not gotten an opportunity to see the Mad Viking, please make sure you make your way out to Cape Championship Wrestling. This dude is a freaking monster, like a legit monster, and honestly, I'd be afraid of the guy even if I was on his team. So it's definitely a match you guys are going to want to see.
Well, Rene, I gotta agree with you in the idea. If you're gonna come out there, and I gotta give some kudos to Brandon Barbed Wire as well, because the idea, if you're gonna go in there in a match with a guy like this gentleman and Hollis Giroux, the CCW heavyweight champion, why not go and get somebody you wouldn't expect and get Billy Gunn? I mean, a man, former tag champion, former intercontinental champion. He's been to New Japan. I mean, this guy has got a wealth of experience, a wealth of tag team knowledge. And I gotta tell you, this matchup this coming Saturday is definitely going to be one that the fans in Cape Girardeau are going to remember for quite a while.
Yes, it's nothing but excitement hearing from this. I mean, like I said, Mathis is a big guy. But one thing you got to also, well, if you don't know, but a lot of people that know Mathis know that, you know, he does have a solid MMA background. He actually trained on the same team with Bobby Lashley. So
that's pretty freaking impressive, man. How many guys can take claim to that? I mean, you want to talk about talent. You want to talk about, you know, sharing the ring and training with some of the best guys in the business. I mean, Bobby Lashley is that. Regardless of what you think about him as a character, I mean, that's an elite class right there. It absolutely is. And I wanted to ask you, Lee, and as we get ready to go into our Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge, you as an individual, man, I mean, obviously your life revolves around Cape Championship Wrestling, but there's got to be at least something that you enjoy getting into outside of the wrestling world, man. So in the spirit of getting to know you a little bit better, man, what do you dig? What are you listening to? What is in your playlist these days? I mean, what do you do to unwind from your busy day? Because I'm sure Cape keeps you pretty damn busy.
Yes, most definitely. Like I said, I love live music, love metal, love hardcore. You said what's in the playlist? Definitely new Hatebreed, new Knock Loose, new Casey String, Creator, Lamb of God, anything that's loud, heavy, and just gets you motivated.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, I'm wondering, I was going through your Facebook timeline now. You don't make a habit of throwing down a bottle of vinegar, snorting hot sauce, and pouring it into your eyes, do you?
No. I literally was getting ready to go to bed, and somebody shared this. And I was like, now, surely this guy's really not going to do this. Surely he's not going to do this. Nope. That guy surely did.
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, I don't know how you get kicks out of something like that, but I thought that was hilarious, dude. That was some funny crap I saw on your timeline. Now, with that being said, dude, pleasantries aside, I want to challenge you to step in the ring with me tonight on the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Are you down for the challenge, my friend?
You know, I may not fare too well in it, but I will take the challenge.
All right, well, don't worry. I'm 9-13, and I've lost to Paul Orndorff, the $1 Million Man, and a bunch of other legends. I even lost to Savio Vega. It was pretty damn embarrassing. But let's go ahead and hit the right music this time, intern Timmy, and let's get into the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. All right. All right, Luke Roberts, you're the MC. Take over, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Wrestle Talk Podcast, it is time for the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight we have the Night Owl, Rene Martinez, taking on Lee Montgomery from CCW. Gentlemen, in honor of the proud wrestling tradition that is held here in the state of Missouri, and in honor of this Saturday's CCW anniversary event, tonight's category on the Game Show Challenge is famous wrestlers from Missouri. Yes, you've heard me right. Famous wrestlers from Missouri. Now, here are the rules of the contest. In a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions. When you think you know the answer to the question, go ahead and shout out your answer to the question. The first one to get 2 out of 3 correct will be deemed the winner. In the event that 2 questions are answered in a row, we will still ask the 3rd question. Rene, are you ready?
The Night Owl is always ready, baby. Ooh, let's do it.
All right. All right, Lee, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, question number 1. What professional wrestler, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, is known by many fans for his shooting star press
90
and his reign as WWE Tag Team Champion with Kofi Kingston as a member of Air Boom?
Matt Seidel.
I have to go with the first answer. That would be both gentlemen. You have the correct answer, but I do have to go with the first one to answer in, and that will be the Night Owl. Being correct with Matt Seidel, I could have also taken Evan Bourne.
Boom.
Right now the score is Night Owl 1, Lee 0.
I'm sweating over here.
Question number 2.
60 seconds.
What professional wrestler, presently residing in the state of Missouri, is known for holding the NWA Missouri State and World Championship on 7 occasions and a former WWF King of the Ring?
Harley Race.
The answer is Harley Race, and that is correct.
Dang it.
1 apiece here on the Game Show Challenge of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Gentlemen, are you ready for the tiebreaker?
We are indeed. And I want to let everybody know who's listening through the live broadcast link, dial 657-383-1521 to continue listening to the show this evening. Carry on. Let's finish this off, baby.
10 seconds.
All right, the tiebreaker question, the 3rd and final question here on the Game Show Challenge tonight. What professional wrestler, presently residing in the greater St. Louis area,
All right. Listen, you see what I'm talking about?
All I heard was a song.
No, dude, all I heard was a song too. And listen, this has been this has been an ongoing thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to interrupt the Game Show Challenge, but we are accepting applications right now for a brand new intern. Intern Timmy, I don't care if I got to run the boards next week. Your ass is fired. Don't look at me like that. Get out of here. You're trying to make me lose this damn challenge. I'm sick of you trying to set me up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We'll send you your last paycheck. Get out of here. Jeez Louise. Sorry about that, guys. Intern Timmy's getting on my last nerve. Let's finish this off.
All right, well, once again, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the 3rd question. Hopefully, intern Timmy doesn't mess with the soundboard again.
He's fired. He can't.
The 3rd and final question. What professional wrestler, presently known for residing in the St. Louis metropolitan area, has won a combined 13 WWE and World Heavyweight Championships?
Randy Orton.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of tonight's Game Show Challenge, Lee from CCW.
Man.
2-1.
Oh, man. Intern Timmy got me off my game. I'm glad I fired that bum. Oh, man. All right. So, I'm going to take my loss like a man and hit Lee's winning music.
All I do is win, no matter what. got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they say there, and they say yeah. And
Congratulations, Lee. Intern Timmy got me off my game, but I tip my cap to you, sir. You know your Missouri wrestling history, and for that, sir, nothing but respect.
I appreciate it. Good challenge.
Oh, my goodness. I want a rematch. I mean, not today, obviously, but hey, Lee, let me tell you something, man. Having you on, man, has been both an honor and a pleasure. We like to have a lot of fun here. We goof around. But what you guys are doing down there, man, at Cape is not a joke. There's a reason that Matt Riddle, Ricochet, Ellsworth, Matt Hardy, Billy Gunn, there's a reason these guys are making their way down there. And it's because you guys have put the work into making what I would say is one of the hottest and fastest growing promotions in not only the state of Missouri, but really in the whole Midwest, and especially with some other competition that has been brewing on the other side of the state. I think you guys are more than holding your own, man, and I would be honored to come down before the year is up and take in my very first Cape Championship Wrestling show, if you will have me, sir.
Rene, you make it down and you'll be my personal guest at the show.
You got it, man. Hey, that's the least you can do after whooping my ass in the challenge, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, well, do us a favor, man. Do what you do best, man. Let people know what's going on at this very huge anniversary show and where people can keep tabs on you and Cape through social media.
I appreciate it. Like I said, CCW anniversary this Saturday night. Doors at 6, bell time 7 p.m. AC Broadway Arena, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Main event, The Pinnacle, Hollis Giroux and Mathis with Jeff Liddell versus Brandon Barbwire, former DX member, Badass Billy Gunn.
Dude,
like I said, we got
incredible.
the number 1 contendership. We got Austin Lane. We got versus Del Tucker. We got Brandon Espinosa versus Billy Hills. And we got so much more. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cape Championship Wrestling. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, CC Wrestling 573. And if you want to send us an email, feel free, CapeChampionshipWrestling@gmail.com. And I hope to see everyone at the show. Rene, I appreciate you having me on the show. I look forward. Hopefully you'll have me back. Hopefully next time I can break some CCW talent with me.
Dude, that would be fantastic. And you know what? We got a fan that's been on hold for a while. I've been waiting to the last minute. He's got tons of energy. He's excited. He's been to a bunch of Cape Championship Wrestling shows. That way people don't think we're just blowing smoke up their ass. No. We got a true blue fan on the line, and we're going to let him close out the show. So without further ado, a man that's been on hold for the whole show, waiting to get on and talk a little bit of Cape, my man Dylan. You're live, buddy. Close us out tonight, man.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man? I hear you're excited.
How's it going? Oh, yeah. Always excited to talk to somebody from CCW. Like he was saying, the shows are great. If you can, get down there, go see these guys. One of my personal favorites will be there, Hollis Giroux.
That bum? Really? No.
Rene, I know you don't like Hollis.
Nah, I don't, because he wears sunglasses inside. I don't understand it, but whatever. He is the champ, and hopefully his reign will come to an end very soon.
Because he came out to Dawkins.
That could have something to do with it as well.
Now,
all right, Dylan. Well, we appreciate you.
I got a few questions for you.
Hey, fire them off quickly, man. Let's get through this.
All right, so let's go back to where Cage Chaos. You know, we've seen the whole showdown with Double H and all that. Will we see Double H back in the CCW ring?
In the wrestling business, like they always say, never say never.
Nice.
Okay. Now on to my favorite tag team that you guys have, Roscoe Eat Lisa. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on those guys to hold the titles.
Yeah.
Will we ever see Roscoe Eat Lisa hold the CCW championship?
I would say it's a very strong possibility. You know, we've been very impressed. You know, we do keep our eye on the indie scene. We see what they do all throughout the country. So when the opportunity is right, we can get them in here, and we can get the tag champions in here. You know, I expect it to be a great match.
Those guys are great. Hey, just like your show is. I'm hoping to get down to the next one, and I'm hoping Rene gets down here to Cape. Maybe we can go to a show together.
Dude, that absolutely sounds fantastic. Dylan, thank you for being on hold the whole time. I know you were eager to talk to Lee. And ladies and gentlemen, don't let me tell you, don't let Lee tell you, let the fans of Cape Championship Wrestling tell you, the upcoming anniversary show is not a show that you want to miss. Get your tickets now. Lee, much love to you, brother, and I will catch you down there in Cape before the end of the year. And you got to make sure we go to Del Taco because I hear they got some fire tacos down there.
Rene, it was an absolute honor. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
You got it, man. Grace and peace to you, brother. Adios.
All right, peace.
That's it, y'all. We're done. Great show tonight. I miss my man Joe Lance tonight. Cape Championship Wrestling did it real big. I want to thank Jason Wells, Chad Hickson, everybody who tuned in tonight. Let me see. I'll make sure I shout out a few more names here. Lindsay Marie, La Muerta, Robert Young. Let me see who else was in here. Man, my goodness. Keith Yervosky. Oh, man. Larry Nickel. Let me see. I think I can find one more. Boom. Robert Brinkley. Hugh. Big Hugh. Good looking out. Robert Young. Michael Cummins. Shout out to you, man. The Wrestle Talk podcast will be in Cape before the end of the year. Mark my words. August 20th. Rockstar Burgers. Good night, everybody.